Hey dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Today I want to get into Jungkook and Charlie Puth and what is going on the left and right music video photos and stuff. I also want to get into Jungkook addressing his feelings around music and everything. So, hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, he's spilling my merch, and let's get into it. I wanted to go over Jungkook and his Weverse interview. If you don't know, all the members within the last week did an interview with Weverse, their own platform, and got really candid about their feelings and what they do. A lot of times with English interviews, they can only say very surface level stuff like it was fun recording this, or this song will come out soon, or I enjoyed collabing with so and so. And usually with the English interviews, they don't even ask that much about the music. It's mostly who's dating who or that type of stuff. So it's very nice to hear the members individually break down their process and how they feel about certain things. Jungkook went over how he felt recording the newer songs that were on the anthology album. So Run BTS, Yet to Come, and For Youth. Run BTS is definitely a more throwback song. It's more reminiscent of their older days, and if you followed them from back then, you can definitely see some overlap. Yet to Come, Jungkook said he sang it while putting himself back into the Life Goes On era, and For Youth was definitely more sad. I think it was interesting that he felt like it wasn't perfect. He said he would have preferred to redo the song, as when they all recorded it, it was during a very hectic time, so maybe Jungkook felt like he rushed it. This is definitely interesting and telling of why all their mixtapes are taking so long to release. Since BTS as a group has a specific deadline, the team pushes that deadline. So whether the song is quote-unquote perfect or not, the team will release it. And so final say in terms of releasing or the song being done is not up to the individual members. However, if the members are doing the songs themselves and it's their own personal mixtape, I'm starting to see why it's taking a little bit, as they may all be perfectionists. Something that has changed my mindset, being someone that posts every day, I've learned to get rid of that thinking. They will never be perfect. It just has to be good enough for your own standards. I get it's easy for me to say I'm not BTS. If BTS messes up or produces something not quote-unquote perfect, they will get ridiculed. But that's all part of the job. And if you work on something with the intent of it being absolutely perfect, then by the time you're done tweaking every tiny detail, you might even hate it or get bored of it and it never gets released. This is what I feel like is the reason some of the members don't have mixtapes out. A lot of what Taeyang has posted and then deleted are so good, but he's probably bored of them and thinks it's bad because he's heard it a million times over and hyper analyzing every flaw or every note. And that is a dangerous slope to go down. Jungkook also was very candid about how sometimes he doesn't like his voice. I think this is so vulnerable and real. I think as an artist, most people are scared to admit this, that they don't like their own stuff as much, because then the supporters tend to disconnect with it, right? Because if you don't even like it, then why would I like it? But unless you're narcissistic, you tend to not like your own stuff as much as others may like it, especially if said art is your face. Because I know I don't enjoy staring at my own face all the time. I know what it looks like. We also tend to be super critical of flaws and pick it apart, so that's never a fun time. Jungkook talks about how he wishes to make his voice sound more polished and sound prettier, and he's adapting a new way of singing. This mindset is healthy to an extent. It means he doesn't think he's high and mighty and thinks he can improve, which just means he will get better. However, I don't know where there is improvement. His voice is very good and he already sounds exactly like the track when he is live. But those were definitely two of the more interesting questions and answers I wanted to go over and talk about. I feel like they were really real, and these don't feel like made up answers that a PR team told them to say. And he spilled the truth right here. And speaking of singing, on the 24th, we ARMYs have some work to do. Charlie Puth's song with Jungkook called Left and Right will be released. I will be reacting to this on my Patreon if you want to check it out. I will link my Patreon below. And there have been some 24-hour view goals that exist. I think people mostly make up a number that they think is achievable and a good number. I saw 25 million. I saw 30 million floating around. So these can definitely be numbers that ARMYs can do. And while all of this is dandy and well, there's definitely a lot of pushback online with this song. First off, people didn't want the collab to happen to begin with. People were saying for a long time that Charlie Puth uses BTS for clout and was against that collaboration. However, when the news dropped of Charlie Puth and Jungkook collab, some of the fandom just tried to accept that this was going to happen. But of course, others were still sending hate to Charlie. There was this billboard that appeared that was a bit controversial. This billboard was in the middle of Times Square and it was huge. I don't think Big Hit or Hybe has physically basically bought out a billboard in a while. Maybe here and there to promote shows and stuff, but I think most of the billboards now are paid for by the brands that BTS are ambassadors of or by the fandom. So there's fan pages that raise money and then they use the money to buy out some of the biggest ad spots. And ad spots in Times Square can range from tens of thousands of dollars to maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars for one day. So not cheap. There was a billboard with Jungkook, 2 pictures of him and the words left and right, and then in smaller font it said collaboration debut, just so people know that this is a Jungkook collab. This, as you can probably imagine, is very controversial because where is Charlie? This is mainly his song. Jungkook is just a feature, but it's just Jungkook on the board. There were some debate online as to whether this was even disrespectful for Jungkook, because it's embarrassing to have to explain this to Charlie if Charlie even asks, because this billboard buy-in thing mostly exists in K-pop. American supporters don't often buy out billboards, so Charlie can literally think that this was done by Jungkook's team and they purposely ignored Charlie. Jungkook likes Charlie a lot. This would be a bad look for him if people think he himself was behind it. There's other debates online like Charlie and Jungkook are not so petty and wouldn't care, like Charlie wouldn't care that he's not on it and Jungkook wouldn't care, and that Charlie would be happy because it brings further attention to the song. But here's my issue, because if Charlie was on a billboard and Jungkook was nowhere to be seen on the billboard, which actually is probably considered more okay because it's not Jungkook's song, but if that were to happen, these same people arguing that Jungkook and Charlie wouldn't care would be so upset that Jungkook was not on the billboard and would riot Charlie. In fact, the whole reason some of the fandom doesn't like Charlie is because they think he purposely excluded BTS. This is my issue. It's completely different energy and response. I have no problem with the billboard. I think it's beautiful. I have a problem with people claiming that Charlie is not being on it is fair. I think we can enjoy the billboard, but we can still admit, well, Charlie should be on it and then move on. But to claim he doesn't need to be on it, that's too much. There was even more than this happening online. People were taking the left and right teaser photos, the one where it appears Jungkook and Charlie are in a white studio and they kind of show chemistry to each other. People started to edit out Charlie in the photos. As you can imagine, this is very rude and disrespectful. Artists have to answer to what the fandom does, and these photos have a lot of engagement. So if Jungkook gets a hold of this, or if Jungkook and Charlie are decent enough friends and they talk, either when they go on tour or perform together, Charlie could even bring up how he might feel sad that some armies are photoshopping him out. I mean, why wouldn't you talk about this if, let's say, Charlie and Jungkook are stuck on a tour bus for days? And if this gets brought up, Jungkook has to apologize. This is an insulting and disrespectful thing for the music video set photos for both Jungkook and Charlie. Don't take the music video photos and do this with them. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think Jungkook spilling his truth about his voice and being candid with us about it? How do you feel about some of the fan actions being insulting to Jungkook over the left and right music video set photos? And do you think Jungkook would be upset if he saw such photos online? I think he definitely would be. Jungkook has openly talked about how much he'd love to work with Charlie and how much he listens and likes Charlie's music. To see this and have this reaction online would discourage him from not only doing any more with Charlie, but possibly not even ever publicly saying he wants to work with anyone in the future. Just completely keeping that to himself, as to not hurt the person that Jungkook wants to work with. I think people have too much time on their hands. Stop sending hate. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, there's a lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.